Okay, everybody, we're going to jump into Unit 1, Lesson 11 here, which is on intellectual property. So jump into the warm-up here. So just something to think about, right, as we start this lesson here. It's going to be about copyright and Creative Commons licenses. So imagine this scenario here where you create something like using your pixelation widget that we've been using this past week. And a week later, you found out somebody took that image that you created and put it on a t-shirt, and now they're selling the t-shirt for $10. Right? So how would you feel about that if they took this image that you created and then they're profiting from that image? Right? Is that right? Are they allowed to do that? What would you think about that? So you can take a second to brainstorm there, right? And then we'll move on. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a scenario that played out in real life that's very similar to that scenario that they just gave you in that warm-up there. There's an article for you on Canvas, so you'll have to pause this video and venture back to Canvas and pull that article up. It's about Fortnite and about the dance moves that are in the Fortnite video game there. You're probably more familiar with it than I am. And you can go ahead and read that article there about this guy named Millie Rock. And his dance moves. So go ahead and read that article there. And you can take down any notes that you want to in your journal as you go. And then, keep in mind that you'll write a short summary of the article in your journal as well. So go ahead and pause the video, slide over to Canvas, pull up the article, read it. It should only take about 5 minutes. And then you can come back to the video and we'll talk about where we're going from there. Okay, so now that you've read that article, hopefully you jotted down a couple of notes there, and then you wrote a 10-word summary of the article or 1-sentence, 2-sentence summary of the article in your journal. So as we move forward here, I want you to think about, are the current copyright policies helping society or hurting society, right? So, in the case of this article, right, people might have differing opinions on it. But first of all, is that dance move that Millie Rock created, is that, his property, right? He owns that, he created that. So is that his property? And should he have, should people be able to recreate that digitally? Because that's where things kind of get murky, right? Is that they're recreating that dance move digitally. If somebody was copying that dance move and then profiting from it on their YouTube, then that would be a violation of copyright because they're copying him. But when they turn it into this digital representation, that's when things start to get a little bit murky. So go ahead and watch these 3 videos. There's 3 videos for you on code.org. So you have to go to code.org there on lesson number 11 and watch the 3 videos. It'll kind of introduce the idea of copyright and then also what the Creative Commons license is. And then we'll summarize them at the end. Feel free to jot down any notes as you go here in your journal, right? Especially on the last video, which is on Creative Commons. If you want to jot down a couple of notes about the Creative Commons license to help you in the future, that would be great too. We'll summarize them at the end. Okay, so hopefully you've watched those 3 videos on code.org. If not, go ahead and pause this video and make sure you get through those that are posted on code.org. And then go ahead and in your journal, you're going to answer these 5 questions. So you're going to take a picture of this, upload it to Canvas, right? So I can see your responses. But you're going to answer these 5 questions. So in the article, right, that you read, the Fortnite article, what was digitized? Okay. And then what was the goal or purpose of digitizing this thing? Is someone benefiting from the situation? If so, who? Is someone being harmed in the situation? If so, who? And are these impacts intended or unintended? And how do you know? So go ahead and take a second to answer those questions in your journal. You can upload a photo of that to the assignment that's posted on Canvas. Then when you're done with that, you can come back to the video. So you'll pause the video now, go ahead and take care of that, and then upload that to Canvas. If you've got questions or you're not sure about it, right, you can use a neighbor for help. And we'll have a class discussion about this. We'll come back to this when I return to campus next week before we take any assessments, just so we can have kind of a share out of everybody's ideas about this. All right, so hopefully you got those questions posted to Canvas, your responses to those questions posted to the assignment on Canvas. You can do this in your journal. You do not need to upload this part to Canvas, but you can do this in your journal here, right? So just go ahead and complete this sentence here. You don't have to do any of the folding or anything that they're asking for here. Just go ahead and complete the sentence. It says, I think copyright can either help or hurt society because, okay? And then you can add a quote from the article that justifies your response there, right? So you're either going to choose that it helps society or that it hurts society, okay? And then choose pick out a sentence from the article that supports your answer there. And then you can finish up here by just taking down a couple of these notes here. So it says we learned about the Creative Commons license that allows you to freely use materials created by others. Okay, so real quick on a summary on the Creative Commons license, right? So the Creative Commons license lets you kind of take your copyrighted material, right? Whatever you created, and it lets you decide what you want to lend out or allow other people to use, right? What parts of it. So you can say that they can use any, your image that you created, they can use it for whatever you want. They can profit off of it. It's just free to use, right? You're just going to gain popularity from it as long as they give you credit. It's no big deal, right? But you can kind of assign to what level they can use your creative creations there. Right, so it's not they're like they said in the video that there are differing levels of how much you're allowing people to use. Okay, so you can say that they're not allowed to profit from it. They can use it, but they can't profit from it, or they can profit from it, but they have to give you credit, right? Or if they're going to profit from it, then there needs to be some sort of a commission. Okay, so you get to kind of choose that. But obviously the creativecommons.org is advocating that this kind of collaboration is what builds a culture in society, right? It's beneficial to society because everybody kind of gets to share ideas and remix ideas and build off of other people's ideas, right? And that's better for society. Okay, and you'll see as we move forward, right, when we start to get into the coding and the programming, that there are a bunch of programs, right, base programs that are already created that people are able to take and input into their program and then build off of that, right? Then you create. So you don't have to, you can kind of take what people have done and extend it in different ways, branch out in different ways. And that kind of collaboration is kind of what moves us forward. Right, is because you don't have to go start from the bare minimum there, from ground zero. You can take what people have already done and extend it, okay, as long as that you're not violating any of their copyright because you're giving them credit, right, or they've got it on Creative Commons, okay, and they're allowing you to do that. They're allowing you to take what they've created and then you're building off of it. So here are some other licenses that you may have heard of that also allow access. So open source. These are programs that are made freely available and may be redistributed or modified. That's what I was just describing with those programs. Okay? And then open access. This is online research output free of restrictions to access and use, right? So this is just open information that anybody can use, right? There's no restrictions on it. Okay, so you don't have to have these things memorized or anything like that. You just have to know the general idea of copyright. So anything that you create is yours, right? So if you create it, you automatically own it. You've got copyright, right? People can't steal what you've created and then profit from it, right? They can't go out there and take credit for it, post it on their YouTube videos and things like that, right? That's a violation of copyright. And then the idea that there is this Creative Commons where you can allow people to use what you have, and to what extent they can use it is up to you, right? Those are kind of the main takeaways that you've got to make sure you understand. All right, that's it for this lesson. Fairly short, so hopefully you've got some time to finish up what we're working on in class next, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.